Hello everyone and welcome to another content creator episode where we're going to be going over the final 4 variations of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit. So as you guys probably know by now, I do have different variations of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit, and I'm going to be making different variations of my other tracks as well. And these are the final 4. So the first one is the easiest one really. It's just the drag strip. So we've had the inner loop, the outer loop, the upper loop and the lower loop in the previous episode, and the one that we missed out from that was the drag strip. Very simple, it's just the main straight of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit. Very easy, and it is now with the next gen version, it is upgraded a little bit. There's tire barriers along the sides. It's got a small grid, but it's done. I've done the glitch to make it a small grid, so everybody's packed really closely together, and it is set to non-contact by default because really that's just the best way to go about it. If you do want it to be on contact, just be prepared for a lot of carnage. So non-contact is definitely the best way to go for the drag strip. It's very simple, as you can see, just straight down the main straight of the Grand Prix circuit. You've got the jump halfway through, and then it basically ends where the first corner would normally be of the main circuit. So very simple, not a lot to it. I've shown the footage here, and I'll show another bit of footage as well. But it only takes about 20 seconds to do a length of this. Not that great in terms of skill or anything like that. It's just an extra addition to the Grand Prix circuit that I feel just sorts it out nicely. It just gives it that extra little bit of realism to have a drag strip on the main circuit, and it can provide some excitement every now and again if you want to test some cars or even just have a bit of fun. So the next one is the Los Santos GP kart track. So we've had karting circuits before. It became quite an interesting thing. Now this kart circuit for the LSGP circuit actually uses part of the main track. So as you can see there, it uses some of the main straight. It uses the part around the newspaper offices section and a bit of the southern portion of the track as well. So just like all my other racing circuits, it keeps that sort of idea of using parts of the main track. Now I've had an idea to do a kart version of Los Santos Grand Prix for a long time, and certainly before karting became a thing on GTA. Now obviously it takes me some time to get these sorted out, and it's just it was an idea, but with the sort of revolution, I guess you could say, of karting on Grand Theft Auto when we did next gen, it became the perfect thing to do. So if karting was a great thing, it's kind of, people don't seem to do it as often anymore, obviously, just like with anything else, but it's still a very fun activity. And the kart tracks that you are used to seeing are sort of very tight. They're all made using the tire barriers, the black tire barriers, and they're all very tight. You have to use sort of good checkpoint placement to be able to get laps. 3 laps of the regular track equate to sort of 1 normal lap. You have to get around it that way. But I wanted to make a track that incorporated the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit, as you're seeing here, but also made sense in terms of checkpoint placement and things like that, and was a little bit more open, a little bit more free with that. So it keeps the same kind of philosophy with karting. The bifter is the only car that you can use. It's locked to the bifter, and it is also first person as standard. So I believe that for karting on GTA, third person, it's okay, but it really comes into its own when you're in first person. So I do recommend that you leave it on first person, which is the default setting as well. And it is available for 30 players, so it is going to be, regular kart tracks, the ones that we've seen before, they're very tight. They can only really hold sort of 10 players at a maximum. This can have full 30 on it. It will get, quite tricky in some areas, but it is a little bit more open. And the idea of using parts of the main Grand Prix circuit is where I really wanted to come with this. The idea is to keep it like as real life. For example, if the Silverstone racing circuit in the UK had a kart track on it that used a portion of the main circuit at some time, I would love to try that out, because you're actually racing on the main Grand Prix circuit. And that's the same here. You know, I've tried to incorporate some areas of the main Los Santos Grand Prix circuit to give people that feeling that, yes, I'm karting, but I'm actually using a part of the main Grand Prix circuit that we normally race. As you can see, this part here around the lower loop section, and obviously the main straight as well. So the lap times are about 1 minute, for a standard lap, which, you know, it's quite short, which is exactly what it should be for a karting circuit. But it is allowable for 30 players, and you can have sort of a lot more people having a lot of fun on a track like this. So definitely give it a go. You know, if you've done karting before in the past with on GTA with some of the more tighter tracks, give it a go and let me know what you think down below. I'm really excited about this one. So the next one is completely brand new as well, and it's the Los Santos GP Rallycross track. Now, Rallycross is something that I've been interested in for quite a while, and the Rallycross circuit of the Los Santos GP track, it uses, again, parts of the main circuit. So, as you can see, it uses part of the main straight. It winds its way around the construction site and the park as well, but it also uses the newspaper officers section as a joker lap. So, for those of you who don't know anything about Rallycross, who don't know what a joker lap is, don't know the whole idea of Rallycross, I am going to be explaining that in another video. I'm going to be putting up a video tomorrow which is all about Rallycross and all about how you can really do a great Rallycross experience on Grand Theft Auto. And it is the perfect way to have a lot of fun with a small number of people. Rallycross is a fantastically exciting kind of motorsport. It combines rallying and regular racing, and it's a new type of motorsport that I've discovered in the last few years that I've really grown a love for. So it is a lot of fun, and I am going to be releasing a specific video tomorrow to explain how to do proper Rallycross racing on GTA, so look out for that. Now, the track itself, obviously it goes on-road, it goes off-road. That's the whole idea of Rallycross, and it winds itself around. It is very tight, and it has a jump in it as well. So this is the first track really that I've made that has a proper jump, and that's because Rallycross circuits in general do have jumps in them at certain sections. Now, the joker lap there is just off to the right. I'll show that in the next little clip. For those who don't know what a joker lap is, I'll explain it in the video tomorrow, but it's basically just a longer lap. So you have to use that longer lap on at least one of the laps during the race if you're doing a proper organised event with a few people. Now, if you are sort of wanting to boot up this race with a lot of people, it is set to non-contact by default, because that's really the best way. To do it, and you shouldn't be using this joker lap. You know, it's just going to add to your time. So under normal circumstances, if you're just doing a random race with a load of random people, you just want to leave it on non-contact. Use whatever class, whatever car that you want, and that'll be it. You know, that you'll just have a lot of fun going around the track. Again, it uses parts of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit, which is something that I really try to incorporate. All the props are still in the same place that you would normally see on the regular circuit, and that's just an added feature that I try to include with all my variations. But you know, it is quite tight. It is quite technical. The maximum is 6 people really. To have it on contact, the maximum really is to have 6 people. Any more than that, and it does start to get a little bit too hectic. That's why it is set to non-contact by default. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, this track. You know, there's a lot of different variations to it, and if you do organise some proper Rallycross racing, which can be done with only a few friends, you know, it's perfect for just a few friends. Again, it can be fantastic. I'll make a video on that, and that will be going up tomorrow, so definitely check that out. Now, the one thing that you do need to be aware of is you can use any car on this track, but the Sultan really is the best for Rallycross racing. It has some, it has great acceleration, which is one of the best things about it. That it kind of replicates a regular Rallycross car, but it also has terrible regular brakes, which means that in some areas using the handbrake can be beneficial. So it's getting that balance between using the regular brakes, using the handbrake, and also getting the great acceleration out of the corners. So if you do want to do a good event, you know, use the Sultan, but it is open to using any car that you want. But again, leave it on non-contact for that. But there will be a video tomorrow to explain it all a lot more. So let me know what you think about that, but obviously wait for the video as well. And the final one that we have is Los Santos GP Classic. This is one that a lot of people have been waiting for. A lot of people have been wanting me to release this. It's basically the old version of Los Santos GP with the chicane, it's basically the variation of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit that was used the most. Now all of the pole cuts are still in there. All of the and as you can see, I've gone really classic with using the classic entity as well. All of the pole cuts that you're used to are still in there. None of the tire barriers are there anymore. The track retains its crossover that it used to have, and this is basically the variation of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit that was hot lapped to death. You know, everybody hot lapped this. A lot of people do still hot lap the North Loop, but this is the track that really got a lot of hot lapping done on it. Now, I think it broke a few people. You know, it stopped a few people from hot lapping because they did this so much. I never really did hot lap it too much because I'm never really into that sort of thing. But it kind of has its history in hot lapping with people just trying to get the maximum out of it around these corners. But as you can see, you know, everything is in exactly the same place as it was before. You know, all of the pole cuts are still there that you would have experienced before. Maybe a lot of you don't know the old version of the track. Well, this is it. This is how it used to be. It isn't a better racing circuit than the current variation of the Los Santos GP track. I would say that when you compare them as pure racing tracks and what's best for racing on GTA, this isn't quite as good because poles can get knocked over. You know, you have various different pole cuts that are very risky and are going to produce poles getting knocked over and ruin other people's races and things like that. As a racing circuit, for a lot of people, it isn't as good as how the track is right now. It also has the crossover on it as well, so people coming out of the tunnel can be knocked off by people coming past the tunnel. You know, that crossover has been put back in. But for me, it is a lot more fun. I do enjoy driving this track a lot, and I think a lot of people feel the same way as well, that just as a track to drive, it's a great experience. You know, even it might not necessarily be best for racing, but it feels good to drive. It's got some great corners, you know, some fantastic areas where you can get some really good high speed around the corners, some technical sections as well. People seem to just enjoy racing the older version of the track, and obviously it has that fun aspect too with the crossover, as you're seeing here. You know, that's the crossover location there. It has that fun aspect as well. You know, it's not meant to be as much of a serious race as the regular LSGP circuit, the newer version of it, but people wanted it. People wanted the classic version back, and this is the one that you can try and hot lap to death again if you really want. So the best lap that we ever had around here was a 1 minute 33.9, I believe. I think it was 1 minute 33.9. I am going to have to check that. If it's any different, I'll put it in the description. But I believe it was a 1 minute 33.9 was the absolute best lap time that we ever had around this track. When you see the finishing results at the end of this race, you'll see that pretty much none of us got anywhere near. I mean, we weren't really trying. It had been ages since we'd ever raced on this track. Nobody got anywhere near that lap time, because that really was in the height of the hot lapping days. People hot lapped this track to death, and I really do mean that. I think Shaggy himself had sort of a 10-hour stream or something where all he did throughout the whole stream was hot lap this track, and there really was a competition between so many people to try and get the best lap time on this track. So, you know, if you want to test yourself against the best, this is the place to do it. Load up the track on your own and see what kind of lap time you can get. In supercars, a 1 minute 33.9 is what you're aiming for, and I can guarantee that the first time that you go around it and you see the lap time that you get, and you think there's no way anybody could have got a 1 minute 33.9. But that's how much this track was hot lapped, because really those lap times are just incredible, and you've really got to be on the pace to be able to get those kind of lap times. You're never going to be able to do it without a hell of a lot of practice and a lot of hours put into it, which is what people used to do when this track was kind of at its height. So this is kind of, the track was at its in this configuration with the chicane for its longest. This was what was used for the first season of the Multi-Class Endurance Championship on this track as well. There's a lot of history there with this track, as I've mentioned. That's why I decided to bring it back. It's the final variation of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit. It's not the best racing track compared to how the current configuration is in terms of just how it is for GTA racing, but it has a lot of character to it, and a lot of people really wanted to see it back, so who am I to say any otherwise? So there you go. Those are the last 4 variations of the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit. We've had the drag strip, the kart track, the rallycross track, and the classic version of the circuit as well. Let me know down below what your thoughts on these variations are, and let me know if you're going to give them a try as well. As you can see, none of our lap times were anywhere near the 1 minute 33 that is possible on this circuit. But let me know, have a go of these tracks. Let me know what you think about them. 2 of them are very, very different, and 1 of them is a blast from the past. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it, as always, and I'll see you next time.